You know, different strokes for different kitties. That's my opinion about cats.
Meow. Oh, you've been recording? We're going back in time, counting down the top 80 songs from the greatest pop music decade in the history of human civilization, the 1980s. You're listening to the 80 of the 80s podcast with your hosts, DJ CK1 and AK47.
Well, as I was cleaning out the closet, I was like, hey, remember this? Remember the Gobotron 2000 back in the day?
Yeah.
So I dusted him off. I brought him back up here with us living persons.
But he's probably pissed off.
Well, he better not be, or else he's going back into the closet. Because we are his...
The Gobotron came out of the closet. I knew that was going to happen eventually.
Yes. I thought he was...
More power to him.
Yeah.
Keep it in the closet.
He's AC/DC, I guess, with the current.
Are you saying we're going to have a secret word?
Yes,
is that
let's
what
push
this
the
is?
button.
I'm a little afraid, I have to admit. Oh, jeez. Babe, this is a horrible word. The word is
Is that even a word?
According to the Gobotron 2000, it is.
It is a word I do say quite a bit. I can edit it out, and I could edit the Gobotron out. Not just of the podcast, I could edit them out of existence.
Keep it in the closet.
Maybe let's push it again, Gobotron, and give us another word.
The word is
Man, he is pissed off, isn't he?
I told you, put his ass back downstairs.
No, I have to admire his punk rock attitude.
Okay.
He's like, screw you. I don't care if I'm going back into the closet.
Keep it in the closet.
All right, so if any time you want to go UH or UM.
I say both of those, but I think I say more. You say
Right.
But you usually edit them out. You'll have to leave them.
Maybe this time I'll leave them in.
Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no. Run.
How many listeners are we going to lose?
I almost said change the station, like we're on the radio. Oh my god, I'm so old-fashioned.
Yes, we are old school. And, but enough of that. Let's move on to the content. Yeah, I just want to say my mind was blown.
As we float through time as energy.
I am connected now to the universe.
Seeking no place. Filling all space.
In a realm of peace and happiness and love.
With sound. Creating. Giving. And integrating all moods.
I stayed up all night long listening to
happiness and sorrow.
Every Earth, Wind, and Fire album.
As energy. Breathing air filled with prana. Awaiting the timeless times of nirvana.
In a world of earth, air, and fire, but not so much water.
Energy!
Yeah, why'd they shun water?
It's because Maurice White, apparently, if you take his astrological sign, is connected to the earth, air, and fire, but not water.
Because we love you!
We change it to wind, because wind sounds a little bit more edgy.
But what does that have to do with our podcast?
Number 37 on our countdown is, you know what it is.
Yes, it's Easy Lover.
By
Phillip Bailey.
Not Phil, but Phillip Bailey.
I said Phillip.
Yes, I know. I was just saying, like, I call him Phil Bailey for the longest time. Phil and Phil. Wouldn't that be cool? And I
Phil Collins. We didn't say Phil Collins.
And I almost feel like...
You feel like Phil?
I woke up again in the middle of the night after listening to all the Earth, Wind, and Fire albums, and I just had this fantasy.
And the world can't erase this fantasy.
That Phillip Bailey was another member of Genesis. I think he would fit in really well. Another element, like the Earth, Wind, and Fire element.
Oh, God.
But, you know...
this is going to be a very punny podcast. Why Easy Lover?
I do not exactly remember the first time I heard the song back in 1984. Let's see, I was 6 years old. But I instantly liked it.
It's catchy.
Very catchy. According to Uncle Phil, we just started having a jam one night and went round and round and turned it into a verse and chorus. We recorded it that night so we wouldn't forget it. The song doesn't sound like any particular era. It's just fantastic. So I had a friend who was 6 years older than me, and he was really into heavy metal music, like Twisted Sister and Van Halen were his favorite groups. But I remember asking him, do you like love songs? He said, no, I don't. And then he said, wait, Easy Lover. Just can't deny it.
Yeah, it is great.
It is pop perfection, is it not?
I don't know that I'd say it's perfection, but it's pretty damn close.
Close enough to be number 37. I would have said this was the best Phil Collins song, but he has so much quality material, whether or not just his solo career, but with Genesis, he deserves 3 entries, and maybe this is one of them. Maybe so.
I'm going to be pissed if Kraftwerk is not on this countdown. I'm just letting you know now.
Well,
Phil Collins gets 3 spots, and Kraftwerk doesn't get anything.
I don't want to be your sex subject.
We shall see.
You're going to be rolling around in the backyard, man.
Right, I like the sound of that.
And respect.
What do you want to know about Easy Lover?
What do I want to know about Easy Lover? Are Philip Bailey and Phil Collins, are they easy lovers?
Well, knowing Phil it's probably most likely referring to his first wife, because I think when he is coming up with melodies and naturally love comes to mind, and naturally goes to his first wife, who has influenced so many of his songs that even in 86, when he had been married to another woman for about 5 years or so, he was still writing Invisible Touch about his first wife.
I don't know how I would feel about that. I would be a little touchy.
Invisible, yeah. Well, now that he's on his third ex-wife, I think, according to his biography.
So he's probably not an easy lover if he's had 3 marriages.
Well, again, reading his biography, it's a complicated situation, just like life is.
Yeah, I'm
just
sure.
like love
I'm
is.
sure.
Yes, it is.
I like Phil Collins, I don't know a whole lot about Philip Bailey. I am not an Earth, Wind, and Fire fan. My issue with Earth, Wind, and Fire is when digging into them and watching a lot of YouTube videos on them, especially the live performances, they just go on and on and on and on. And it's too much of a jam session for me. I can't get on board with that,
Agreed. I think that's much of the funk and jazz shtick is extended jams. They're great musicians.
Yes.
And they really want to drag that out. I think, however, they're much more disciplined in the studio. They are, as they say in jazz fusion lingo, tight. The horns are very tight. I listened to the first Earth, Wind & Fire album I listened to in its entirety was 1980s Faces. It's a double album and it's absolutely incredible. It was like a revelation. I was like, this is a void in my life that is being filled. And that made me want to listen to all the rest of the Earth, Wind & Fire albums.
Oh, believe me, I know. Oh my God, it's like everywhere I went in the house, it's like Earth, Wind, and Fire is everywhere. It's like a tornado of Earth, Wind, and Fire in here.
That sounds kind of scary, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I mean, I really respect them as a group. One thing you need to say about them, they are commercial. Maurice White, who's kind of the leader of the group, has always stuck with... It's interesting because you do get to hear whatever the, quote, R&B, urban soul sound is of the time. He's very much trying to hit the urban R&B charts. It's an interesting microcosm of what the musical trends were from the early 70s until, heck, I mean, their last album that was of the time, I think, was probably in the early 90s. Granted, they didn't have a few releases until, like, the last one they came out with was, I think, 2004 or something. I think the name was, like, Then, Now, and Forever. You fans, we know you like our stuff from the 70s. We're going to go back and make music like it sounded in the 70s.
I promise to you. I'll be there. I'll be
I don't typically like it when an artist goes the commercial route. I mean, I know that they have to do that. They want to make money. I get that, but I really do feel like they should be true to what they like.
Well, if Earth, Wind & Fire didn't do that, though, we probably wouldn't have heard of them.
Perhaps.
And so they reach a larger base by being of the time. You know, the quote is sell out, but I mean, I don't know how much of they compromise what they really wanted to do.
Well, this isn't really an Earth, Wind & Fire song, though.
No, but it's an important part because...
It is, but I don't want to lose focus because I'm really curious. Phil Collins and Phillip Bailey, how did they meet? Like, how did they decide we are going to jam together and see if we mesh? How did that happen?
Actually, I want to play an audio clip of that right now.
Wow.
This is Phillip Bailey.
The Phoenix Horns, who were then part of Earth, Wind & Fire, on our downtime, got a chance to meet Phil and later became part of his touring group and recording group when we were down. So I met Phil at a concert in Los Angeles at the Forum and just was totally knocked off my feet, by, the music, everything. I wasn't really that familiar with Phil. And I was in the process of doing the second solo record. And I was saying, man, I would love to do one of his songs. So I talked to him about perhaps doing one of the tunes or, writing a song for me or whatever. And one thing led to another, and they, talked about the possibility, well, hey, why don't you produce the record? And that's how that happened. I went over to London and me, Nathan East, and we had a great time.
Bass with Phil.
Yep. And that's how he met Phil. Through me.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
It's a little give and take.
Right. In fact, a lot of the guys that played with Phil, I met them through me, and it was a wonderful experience. And I was pretty much taken back by just the fact that after I was made aware of just how big Phil and Genesis was and everything, just what a sweet guy he is. Just very, very talented, unassuming, and just a great person.
Phillip Bailey, I listened to his solo albums. It's good. It is better than 90% of the music out there. Too many of them are slow songs. For some reason, he thinks with his high-pitched falsetto voice.
My mother said I was singing before I was talking. I was raised with a bunch of ladies. I didn't know falsetto was falsetto. I just was mimicking people and singing it, so it didn't register until I got up and someone came to a club and said, we have a great falsetto. Falsetto? Falsetto, that's what it is.
That he needs to pair it with slower ballads. You know what The Quiet Storm is?
No.
R&B radio stations, play songs that are kind of like romantic tunes that you do slow dances to get you in the mood for certain activities. Yeah, and that's a lot of like what the approach he takes. And actually, I think the more boring Earth, Wind & Fire songs are like that too. Half of the albums he's done are Christian albums. And those are kind of blah as well, except for from 1984 he did an album called The Wonders of His Love. He's singing about Jesus, not another dude. And
Christians can rock, man.
Yeah. Title track is Calypso Reggae song. Songs are a bit more catchy. When he recorded his album Chinese Wall with Phil Collins as the producer, you immediately know when you press play on the CD, or back then it would have been a cassette, or when the needle drops, you instantly hear the drum beats for photogenic energy. And you're like, that's Phil Collins.
You just know.
You got to crank up the drum beat all the way. Boom. This sounds like a precursor to Phil Collins, his classic No Jacket Required. Chinese Wall is exceptional album.
So they just work really well together, I guess.
I think so. And again, it's sad they didn't collaborate more.
I agree, because I'll tell you why I really like the song. There is something about the two of them and their voices together that just, it's beautiful. It's just perfection. I love it. And I'm so bummed that they didn't do an entire album together, because I think it would have been fantastic.
Granted, Phil produced and...
No, but I mean, like, sing together, like, collaborate that. It would have been amazing.
They harmonized really well in the contrast between their voices. Now, the first time I saw the music video back in '84, I didn't know who Uncle Phil was. And I was also disappointed in the music video, because the music video, which is about the making of a music video and them acting goofy and stuff, they overdubbed a lot of the song.
They did.
And it didn't sound as good as if, like, the way the song sounded on the radio.
Yeah.
But I remember, like, my mother watching it, and she's saying, I like the black guy, but not so much the scruffy English
The scruffy white dude.
Right, this sleazy, lackadaisical bum. Or I don't know, because he was half-shaven.
Oh.
He didn't even bother to shave for the music video. I mean, come on.
You can say what you want about the video and how the dubbing and all of that. I agree with you. It throws you off a little bit. But I kind of like that they did a music video of them doing a music video. I thought it was really unique. I kind of dig it.
It could have been worse. And it shows the kind of chemistry that they had.
I mean, it could have been completely fake, but it sounds like that they get along. It looked like they get along really well. They had a good time. For me, it's one of those songs that I can hear it and hear it again and hear it again and not be sick of it. It's just such a great song.
And the guitar solo by Daryl Sturmer, the guy who basically he does all the guitar work for Phil Collins' solo career and is also live for Genesis after Steve Hackett left. The guitar solo is like an extra bar. It goes on and on. It's pretty long for a pop tune, but you still like it. It's still like a great solo. When I saw the trailer for the video game Vice Stories, they set the trailer to the video game Too Easy Lover.
Hi, it's Phil Collins here. When I'm in Vice City, I only listen to Flash FM, where pop meets payola.
And they show you as the character riding a jet ski. And again, it matched because, you know, the Grand Theft Auto series, a lot of it's driving and shooting, and it just sounds like a great song for driving and shooting. And innocent people.
Shooting at innocent people. Okay. Hey, maybe after we record the podcast. I am AK-47 after all, right?
Right, yeah.
Get in the car and go shoot some people. Oh, God, that's terrible. I can't even believe I said that.
No, and actually that game, there is a mission called Kill Phil, and Uncle Phil himself provided voiceover.
Barry, is everything sorted for tonight?
Mate, seriously, of course it's bloody sorted. You're going to blow them away.
Well, I'm more worried about someone blowing me away.
Oh, this talk of blowing.
If I remember, I think the mission part of it is to actually kill Phil.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And
Oh, no!
Uncle Phil, being a good sport, thought this was funny. You know, that in this game you can...
Yeah.
Hi, Vic. What do you think of the show?
Killer.
That's why I like it so much.
But I'm booked in at the hotel for another week. I was going to work on the tan.
It's just the fact that he was on board, I think is hilarious.
I've spent the last few days being chased around the city by a maniac. I've been shot at and nearly blown up.
Yeah, there is like a Miami Vice connection because he was on the show Miami Vice, and they often featured his music on Miami Vice. So
yeah, you know what? Yeah, I can see that. Okay, done.
We already talked about Easy Lover.
End scene.
No, don't you want to know more about Earth, Wind, and Fire though? Because I have to justify all the extended research I did on the group.
I am so tired of Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Okay.
No disrespect or anything, but it goes on forever and ever and ever.
Hey,
although some of their videos were hilarious.
Which one?
I can't remember the names of them. They
Did
all
you see Magnetic?
Honey, after like the 30th song, I was about to pull my hair out. They all blend, okay?
I think one of the greatest music videos of all time is Magnetic. You remember that one about it's like a futuristic...
Yes.
Takes
that's
place
one
in
of the
the
ones I'm
distant
thinking
years,
of.
like 2050. Yeah. They're having like this future gladiatorial combat.
Definitely.
That is
worth
a
a
must-see
watch.
for any human being.
Yeah.
So if you really enjoy it the way it was meant to be enjoyed, good for you. If you enjoy it ironically because it's hilarious, good for you too. Besides Magnetic, that was kind of when they went downhill, I think. Because like that 83 album, which was Electric Universe, they recorded so quickly after Powerlight. Powerlight sounded completely different. It sounded like the typical funky trumpet-laden Earth, Wind, and Fire song music. Like, what happened? And I think it's just that their horns were maybe on the other side of the Atlantic over in London with Uncle Phil recording his Hello, I Must Be Going album. So, I don't know why Maurice was like, I can't wait. I got to record another album with a bunch of synthesizers, and here's Electronic Universe. The only good thing that came off of that album was Magnetic, which was actually written by someone else. And so, besides that highlight, basically with Earth, Wind, and Fire, there's lots of deep stuff to get into. But I would suggest 1977's All in All, 1979's I Am, and the 1980's Faces. That is the golden trilogy right there. That I think anyone with a passing interest of quality pop music should listen to those 3 albums.
They can appreciate them.
Because that was kind of like when during the disco era, funk was already becoming a mainstay on radio, but the disco dance beats were coming in, and that matched their sound perfectly. When I was a boy, my father bought the record to All in All, and I remember looking at the album cover, and the album back, and on the inside of the album, and it was mind-blowing. It was the most epic and intricate artwork I can imagine. You haven't seen it.
I know, I'm trying to picture it.
No, you want me to show it to you?
Yeah.
Let me
I
bring it
want
up.
to see it. But I don't want you to explode my head if this is
but that's as a kid it was mind-blowing. Thank goodness for the internets. All in All. This is the cover, right?
Let's see.
But imagine this is, it's large and very detailed.
Wow, no, I have seen... I think my mom had this.
But here was the back of it, and you can see it's like a futuristic city. So the pyramid becomes like a futuristic pyramid.
I remember
with the rocket ships coming off, yeah. Okay, and here, this was the inside. Now, how freaking epic is that?
That's
Sphinx
pretty,
with lightning bolts and the all-seeing eye.
All of the different religious symbols here. This is pretty amazing, yeah. I have to admit, that's pretty great.
Right. So as a boy who learned how to use the record player, I did dare to put on the record, and the first song was Serpentine Fire. And I remember, like, what the hell does Serpentine Fire mean? Just the first few notes, it just had this really odd, weird vibe to it, and then everyone's, like, harmonizing. And I had to take it off because I was like, I don't want to go here. I'm just not ready. My infantile mind is not ready
Can't handle it.
for this. But now, after listening to hours and hours of Earth, Wind, and Fire all night, I think I can. They're one of my more favorite groups now, and
that's great.
And I think, but much of it is off of the strength of their late '70s album. All right, so you're right.
I just remembered.
I did say it. Yes.
We need to go to commercial break.
80 of the 80s will be back after these messages.
Listen to the power of platinum. Panasonic Platinum. Get into the power of platinum. Get a Panasonic Platinum box.
Wow, Earth, Wind, and Fire!
Stereo, AM, FM, cassette. Platinum is the power to get. Two-way speakers, woofers, tweeters. To carry the beat right into the street. Go platinum. Panasonic Platinum. Panasonic Platinum.
DonorSee is the best way to give your money. We have an ever-growing network of aid workers living all over the planet. These aid workers use our app to take pictures of people in need, post them to DonorSee, and then fundraise. After you give your money, the aid workers then post photo and video updates to show you exactly how your money was spent, even if you only gave $1. Are you looking to make the most impact with your money? Give on DonorSee. Do you know an overseas aid worker? Tell them to start posting. It's easier to post a project on DonorSee than a picture on Instagram.
This last Christmas, we've been shopping. Some 80s related shopping that we've been doing.
We've been doing 80s related shopping?
Well, at least we've been looking at some of the great stuff that's offered on Redbubble.
That's true.
Granted, Redbubble is not an official sponsor of the show.
We just really like it.
I just want to say there's some hilarious stuff.
There is.
Almost any artist or thing that you're into, you'll find a Redbubble t-shirt / tote bag / sticker related to it. So what did you think about the Gary Newman Lego series?
The Lego Principle. Holy cow, it is brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant, and I am going to get a tote bag.
You haven't
yet? It's
yet.
amazing. I haven't yet. I have my new Craftwork bag, which I'm really happy with. It's amazing. I mean, somebody took the time to actually recreate scenes of, like, concert footage and stuff in Legos.
I think Gary Newman and Legos is a really good pairing.
Yes, it's amazing.
Why? I don't know. It works, but it works.
It works.
How about the design that is titled Our Friends Aquatic?
We're getting the shower curtain.
We are?
We are getting the shower curtain.
We're going to pay for like $80 shower curtain?
Yes. Yes. I have plans. We are going to have a Gary Newman bathroom.
Gary Newman soaps, like in different like shapes.
Yes.
Like maybe shape of a guitar or a keyboard or a shape of a car or something.
Like little car soaps.
Little car soaps.
Oh my God, yes.
How about the Mark Ullman pillow? Do you think that would be a good addition?
Creepy.
I liked it.
I support it. If you want to buy it and sleep with it in the bed, that's fine. But
snuggle with Mark. I think if there's a theme to the show is just, you know, some things just fit perfectly subjectively, and you don't know why. Why does Gary Newman fit well with Legos? Why does Mark Ullman fit well with a pillow? It's nice and fluffy. You want to squeeze it. You want to snuggle with Mark. But then the one thing I did chill out the bucks for was the CC Catch t-shirt.
Yes, you did.
Someone did a brilliant design of making it look like CC Catch was a heavy metal artist. Again, it just screamed, somebody reached into my soul, and that's why I had to have it. And that's the reason why you should go to our Facebook page. I've been sharing some of these images on our Facebook site.
Here's where the feeling begins. Earth, wind, fire. Coca-Cola Classic.
The feeling's real, you know it can't be beat.
Gets down into the system, you can feel it in your feet.
Ow, the tasteless life, feel the magic that it brings.
It's the ultimate sensation when you carry your pain. I can't beat it, Coca-Cola Classic.
Ow, can't beat it, can't beat the feeling.
Can't beat it,
can't beat the feeling.
You know, like, so 2019, for the music I heard, it's very sad. It's sad that people like and listen to this kind of music. But I think...
Here comes the judgmental portion of the podcast.
Hey, that's what this is.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, I would endorse Electric Youth, finally, after 5 years waiting, came out with a follow-up album to their 2014 debut. What was the name of it?
That album.
Inner Voice.
There we go.
So they came up with Memory Emotion. I would say it's a good album. The first 3 tracks are banging. Banging in that quality-wise. Although I wish they would have maybe stripped back some of the reverb and airy dreaminess and made it more of a driving pop tune. But that being said, hey, it's good that they're back. And they spent a week with Vince Clarke, and you would think that maybe they took some cues from Erasure and said, we're going to make some clean, simple synth pop and not drown out our music with lots of reverb effects.
Yeah.
That's my criticism of it. I still think it's a good album. I was really perplexed. Why did it take them 5 years? You know, Earth, Wind & Fire, sometimes they come out with 2 albums in a year. Really complex arrangements. Very disciplined playing with lots of great instrumentation. The horns, again, are very tight and on point. They can come out with 2 albums a year, Earth, Wind & Fire. Why does it take Electric Youth 5 years to come out with the album? And I think ironically it's the technology.
Yeah.
It's because back then the technology was not as good. You could not really spend as much time in the studio editing it. When you go into the studio, you had to be on. And they would rehearse and rehearse. They go in, they do, you know, not that many takes. And then what you get is some great quality music, while these days you can fuss and fret over every note.
Yeah, they're perfectionists.
It turns you into a perfectionist, and thus it takes, I think a lot of quality artists are taking maybe too long, but at least they came out with another album. So
I wish that her voice wasn't so digitized, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
It's not really auto-tune.
But that could just be part of their shtick. I'm not very familiar with them, but I miss the days of an artist, male or female, doesn't matter, actually singing without any type of digital manipulation or assistance to their voice. I miss that, of people actually having like genuine talent.
I think I would agree with that. I don't have a problem with using studio effects to make something sound better. I'm like, is it really making it sound better?
But that's my point. I don't think it does sound bad. I think that objectively she has a nice voice, probably, but I can't really hear her actual natural voice because it's so manipulated. Hey, can we play a board game?
Maybe in a little bit, but no, I was just going to mention one more album.
Oh, okay.
This actually came out in 2018. Nina, not Nina is the 99 Luck Moons Nina.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, she's a Swedish artist, and she came out with her first album, Sleepwalking. She has a really good voice, high quality synth pop. So I endorse that one. I mean, if you want to talk about board games, we could talk about House of Danger. That's 80s related. You want?
We are board game fanatics. I guess that's kind of a gentle way of saying it.
Well, that's more of a 21st century phenomenon because the gaming scene and quality of the games is, we're in the golden age right now.
We absolutely are. And man, where
opportunity cost.
Such good sales, like buy one, get one free. And you just, you know, when you have a lot of games that you're wanting to buy and they cost like $60 and $70 and $80, buy one, get one free is an amazing deal. Right?
It's an investment.
It is.
Yes, an investment.
Investment in happiness.
And what better thing to invest your money in, right?
Yes.
I can justify any kind of spending that way.
No. But the one that we've been playing recently is sort of 80s, I guess. Our kids have really, really gotten into it. And it's the Choose Your Own Adventure. What is the name of it? House of Danger? House of Danger, that's right. Thank you. So you actually read the book when you were young, right? Yeah, I did, and I was surprised when it came out. This is what they're going to pick to make their first board game off of, because it was actually one of the worst Choose Your Own Adventure books because it was so random. But I think the board game really fleshed it out. They added lots of stuff, lots of different decisions and paths and artwork, which I really liked the artwork. And they really expanded upon the mythos, the universe that is House of Danger. Yeah, I like it. We played it twice. Like, you and I played it once together, and then we played it with the kids, and it was different. Even though the beginning, like your chapter goal is the same, it was different each time we played it. So I'm excited to try to play it again even. It's not my favorite game. I definitely like more hardcore kind of strategy games, but it's fun with the kids, right? Yeah.
She glows in the dark, and I'm weak by the sight of this breathtaking beauty in which I can't hide.
I just have to mention this really quickly. I've recently been digging really deep into Aha. Don't know why, just have been. I've always been a fan of theirs, but I'm becoming a much bigger fan. Their more recent-ish stuff is I won't comment on that too much, but my point in this is they are coming to the United States.
Oh no. It sounds like we're going to spend money.
But they're only doing 3 or 4 shows. They are all in LA, and 2 are sold out. And the other one still had tickets available the last I checked, but they were super expensive. And to me, that is an indicator that they need to do at least a small US tour. Do you know how much money they can make? Listen to me, Aha. This is your Aha moment. Take it.
They've always been so much more popular in Europe and Brazil. Maybe finally, after all these years, thanks to people having instant access to any kind of music they want to listen to, Aha has finally achieved the status that they deserve in North America.
I think people are just craving good music.
Because there's such a dearth of it right now.
Yeah. I am going to a concert. You are not going. I'm going with my brother and my sister to see Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Poison, and Joan Jett.
So speaking of which, actually it's been such a long time since we did a cast. We saw OMD a second time.
We saw OMD again because I just had to. Because I have no control.
I think the set list actually skewed a bit more towards Andy McCluskey's material from the 90s. It was a good experience. It was a smaller audience in Nashville. Yes. He was recovering from an ailment, but he soldiered through it, and yeah.
He did. And you know what? This is probably just a coincidence. Anytime you're in a venue or a place with lots of people, there's always a chance of this. It could have come from anywhere. But he was complaining about how he had been sick. And then the 2 days later or something, I got really sick. Do you remember this? Yeah. And I just totally convinced myself that I got it from Andy. I probably didn't, but I had McCluskey-itis. I still have McCluskey-itis. I can't help it. Anyway, but yeah, they put on a great show. I mean, it's always impressive to see them.
I still maintain it's one of the best live acts I've seen and probably will ever see.
To be alone, there are no lips I'm kissing.
You haven't listened to the new Pet Shop Boys singles, right?
No. They kind of have like this roller coaster where they'll be really good and then it seems like they're
That's a good way to describe it. Now, you've heard the song Burning the Heather. Remember, didn't she say it was really dull?
Yeah.
Autumn is here and they're burning the heather.
And it sounded like they're kind of their worst B-sides. And why would that be one of their first singles? Except their another single, Monkey Business. You haven't heard that one?
Everybody get on board, I'm back in town. Monkey Business.
It resembles maybe another B-side, but a B-side from like 1983 or something, like one of their earliest tunes. And I think they did a really good job of picking up on that sound and vibe. So kudos for them for at least that attempt. It is an enjoyable tune.
Bring me margaritas, champagne and red wine. We're gonna have a party where we all cross the line. I'm looking for monkey business. Just playing around.
I always say that Monkey Business makes me feel more positive about their album Hotspot, which should be coming out sometime in January 2020.
I'm afraid to say anything negative about the Pet Shop Boys because we live together. When I'm listening to the Pet Shop Boys, after so many songs, he sounds like he's just getting just a repetitive prostate exam.
Again, what's wrong with prostate exams? It's
There's
very
nothing
important.
wrong with it.
Coming soon, something good.
It's mostly all dance music.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there's so many different subgenres of dance music. I can listen to them all day.
Oh yeah, no. And then I heard
they touch upon so many different styles.
Yeah, no. What song was it of theirs that came on not long? More Than a Dream? Is that what it's called? That song came on, and I thought, holy shit, I haven't heard this song in a while. This is a great song.
We can change. We can make it more than a dream. And I believe.
can change. It's not as strange as it might seem.
I think I ended up listening to that song like on repeat for 2 or 3 days. I mean, it's a great song. I like the Pet Shop Boys a lot.
And then The Way It Used to Be.
Yes.
And that came out, when was that? 2008 or 2009?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, it was like the year off of their Yes album.
Well,
so.
I have more to say about them, but maybe we'll wait until another podcast, perhaps.
Gee, maybe there'll be a Pet Shop Boys podcast in the future. So, we're not stopping. We're not. The rumors were unfounded that we were giving it up.
All the tabloids are wrong.
No, we're not breaking up. We're still together and dedicated to this mission, making all the way down to #1 best song, not only just the 80s, but maybe all time. Right now, but next...
Nah.
What? Let's talk about dead people.
No.
Why? Oh.
Dead people's kind of a sad thing.
Yep, you're right.
Procession moves on, the shouting is over.
In 2019, we have lost several artists, musicians who've released material in the 1980s. Here's a short list, but the listener, take note. You can contribute material to the show. If there are any of these artists, musicians, singers who have been an influence on you or that you really like their stuff, send us an email at
80ofthe80s@gmail.com.
80OFTHE80s@gmail.com, and just let us know, like, why was this musician really important to you, and like maybe you can give a song that you really liked from this musician and I'll play a clip of it. Okay, so I'm going to go through the list, and first I'm going to do an honorable mention because I didn't know that December 2018 Pete Shelley of the Buzzcocks died.
You just now found out?
Yeah, I'll include him on the list, as well as Daniel Johnson and Eddie Money.
Yeah.
And James Ingram. There's also Marie Fredrickson of Roxette.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this is really ending our show on a big downer, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, man.
I did, in our last podcast, I talked about Mark Hollis of Talk Talk.
Yeah.
And then there's also Neil Peart of Rush. That's a big one.
That's a big one. But what about, like, Peter Tork? I mean, I know he's not necessarily 80s, but come on. The Monkey!
Okay, yeah, we'll throw him in.
I think we should. The Monkees were an influence, right?
Yes, they released an album in, like, 85 called Pool It, remember?
I do remember, but I don't think it was very good.
It wasn't good, but still.
I didn't want to say that, but...
That's our subjective opinion. Okay, also,
Yeah.
Ranking Roger of The Beat in General Public. And then here's another one that, actually, this one was a bit of a bummer. I thought it kind of made me feel down for a little bit. Is Rick Ocasek of the Cars died.
That one was really surprising, too, because I don't think anybody knew he was sick or anything. Did they?
Right, I think it was...
I mean, I know his family did.
It was surgery. He was recovering from surgery. And then...
Oh, that's right.
So,
never know.
I know. But he was in his mid-70s, so... I mean, it's hard to do a little tribute of all these, so I'm going to let you, the listener, choose. And recently we did a podcast on Level 42. The former guitarist of Level 42, Boone Gould, actually his real name is Roland Gould, died as well. So
Yeah, and if we left anyone out, let us know, because I'm sure we probably did.
And then you can also send us a message on our Facebook site. Just search for 80 of the 80s Music Podcast, and you'll find us, and you can send us a message. Just letting us know the artist that maybe touched your heart, and you're a little sad and a little disappointed when you heard that they died. Me just disappointed right now when I was just reading this list.
Yeah, this is kind of a downer.
All right, let's talk about something happy.
Okay, Cuphead?
Cuphead.
Yeah, that's been my recent happy go place.
That's my recent source of frustration.
But I like the challenge. I think it's exciting. And then when you beat it on simple, you can go back and do it on normal also. That just opens up a whole new world of Happy Challenge, you know?
So if I beat a boss on simple, then I'm not even happy about that because, I got to do normal because I want to be normal.
Because you're a perfectionist. This is not happy either. Let's, come on, something else.
Okay, I have to turn everything into...
Grilled cheese sandwiches. I love grilled cheese sandwiches.
Well, except when I overdo them.
You put too much cheese.
There's such a thing as too much cheese?
I think so.
Here we are being negative about grilled cheese sandwiches.
Puppies.
Puppies.
Gravity Falls.
You have to potty trick puppies. Gravity Falls, I can't even remember his name. He's so unmemorable. The uncle, the good uncle.
Great Uncle Ford?
Is he the one from the alternate dimension?
Yeah.
He's such a dull character.
I get what you mean by that.
I want to be negative on the fact that he's perfect. The fact that he's perfect.
Okay, so you're the one being negative here.
Yes, I am. All right, let's just give up.
I'm never going to give up on happiness, but you can.
You know, we were talking about Uncle Phil. Did you see the Philco's Jesus statue?
Uncle Phil? What?
The Jesus statue?
Of Uncle Phil?
It's supposed to be like it's a giant statue of the baby Jesus, but it looks just like...
Oh my gosh, no. Pause everything and show this to me now, because I have not seen this.
So in a Mexican church, they made a giant statue of the baby Jesus, and...
Oh my God! Phil Collins. You weren't lying! That is like the creepiest, funniest, just weirdest thing. Does he have a six-pack? Is that like fat rolls?
It is, yeah, I think it is kind of like fat rolls. I don't know why. The sculptor thought, like, gee, maybe I should put some fat rolls on this. And he needs to have like a widow's peak.
Oh my God, that is so weird. We hope you enjoyed the 80 of the 80s podcast. You can download more episodes at your favorite podcasting resource or at our website, 80ofthe80s.com. And we want to be your Facebook friend. Until the next song, this is AK-47 thanking you for your power play.